them things, we never went to the doctor. But I'll
6'1".
tell you this.
6'1".
6'1".
We had occasion with
Yeah.
my Uncle Willie. Willis. That was my mama's brother. A time when they should have took someone to the doctor. Home remedies didn't do it. Willis was working a plane, and he bumped it. He ended his knee. So, when he was 7, 8, 9 years old. And that knee never healed. It ran pus all the time.
All the time.
All the time. That poor soul growed up to be a man, and he never could use his right leg, and they had to keep it wrapped in something. But he was the invalid in the family.
Wow.
And he never growed up and had a family. And the other one was...
You say he did grow up and have a family? He never grew up.
I say he never did. Papa had to take care of him till he died.
Who was that?
Willie.
That was Mama's brother, my Uncle Willis. And Willis was the third one from the baby. Fourth one from the baby. Doc was the baby. David was the next one. And Booker was the next one. That's the third one from the baby. And then Willis. And Booker never had a family, went to the army in the Second World War in training and out there in Montana somewhere. And they was teaching them the parachute out of plane. And my understanding that he froze. He wasn't very strong in that. He froze and they shoved him out. And that guy pulled the parachute and he never really recovered from that. Although he didn't die on hitting the ground.
Yeah.
He never
mentally
started,
he was jacked up.
Yeah, he never did, and so he never got married and had a family. And Elwood, he was the brains of all of them.
With a name like Elwood, he would be the brain.
But he was deformed. He was like with the hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
The one stroller was a lot. So, but he was buckling and he pretty much taught himself. He was the legal one for the family. He was the reader of the family. Anytime Papa wanted to know anything, he would read the newspaper to him. And of course, he never got married either. But they was the one that Doc never had any children. They adopted Kippy for theirs, and Elwood and Willis and Booker never had any.
And Dad, those are Grandma's siblings.
Yeah.
Grandma
Yeah.
Martha's siblings.
Yeah.
So who was the oldest?
The oldest was twins. And Louis and Henry.
Lewis and Henry.
They had kids.
Did they have kids?
I was gonna say somebody had to carry that Coleman name.
Well, listen now. They come of a family of 13. Mama had 12 other siblings, and each one, Henry and Louis, had about 11, 12 each that they have. And
that's a lot of cousins.
there are a lot of Colemans. And all of them Colemans. And you talking about when they invaded Papa and Grandmama's house, man, there was a whole lot of them there. And
Dad, which one of them when we went to I was trying to think of this the other day, when we went to the family reunion. Lewis is the one that looked like you?
Lewis is, Lewis's kid.
Who?
Charles is the one that we look just alike. Charles and myself.
So when this came up because we were watching that Adam Project, and I was gonna say, but I couldn't think of his name, so I don't want to interrupt the movie. But I was gonna say, because we watched the movie about time travel, and the guy went back and he was interacting with his younger self.
Mm-hmm.
And they were trying to go through that whole thing about, the different, and I was going to say in this movie that would be, it's a shocking thing, right? And I know my little experience with it was this. So we go to the family reunion, and, I'm with Dad all the way down. And then somehow we were meeting people and stuff. And then I turn around and I look in the pavilion. In the pavilion, I'm telling you, it freaked me out, because in the pavilion, it was like a disjointed thing. Mm-hmm. So in the pavilion, I saw a younger version of Dad. He looked exactly like Dad, but like 20 years earlier. And I couldn't, it was freaking me out for like a split second. I couldn't like figure it out. I'm like, how is that? And then I was all confused. I was totally disjointed until at some point I think Dad came, or I could see him together with him, and then I could make the. Yeah. And then for the whole time it shook me up. I'm like, man, I've never seen anything like that. He looked exactly like Dad 20 years earlier. Freaked me out.
Uncle Louis, Mama's oldest brother.
So he was a handsome man.
It freaked me out. I kept staring at him the whole time. I think he's wondering why. I'm like, you look exactly like my dad 20. I told him, I said, you look exactly like him 20 years ago. Exactly like him.
They had us to stand side by side and all of that. But Charles, when he was a youngster, he had asthma. And no, I didn't never think he was going to be a healthy individual. Mm-hmm. But he was about 10, 12 years. Well, I think his brother Richard, who is the oldest one of the Uncle Louis's second marriage. Uncle Louis was married, and he had two sons, and then him and his wife broke up, and then he married his second time, and then he had about 10 kids with
I guess we know why they broke up.
Well,
She didn't want to have 10
I
kids.
didn't. He was not that young when he got married the second time, but he got in a hurry there some kind of way. But
10 kids.
so,
With the second one.
but Henry and Lewis, and how did the story go? They tell it at the family reunion that Mama, well, we call her Grandma Louisiana, but her peers called her Cooper. She, when she gave birth to the twins, in some kind of way, they named them after the preacher. The way, I think it was Methodist preacher, and his name was Henry Lewis. So they gave each boy one of the preacher's name, Henry and Lewis. That's why they don't match.
Yeah, it's not like
They're not.
John and Tom.
Yeah, but that's why they come along. And then Uncle Amos was the next. Oh no. What's the name? It's right on the tip of my tongue. Mama's oldest sister. She come next. She is married a boy, and they lived up the road from us. Boy, and I can't think of. I can't.
Well, don't try to, then it may come
But
to you.
she ended up with about 13 kids. Mama's oldest sister.
So you know there's a good chance that Keith's son-in-law is related to us because he's a Coleman.
But I've thought about that the last time I was with Kathy, and I tried to, and she's from Meridian area. Keith is about
Kathy Bramley? Yeah.
And I tried to get into that about son-in-law, but we didn't make the connection. But here's one. Oil can boy. You did that name register?
Baseball player.
Baseball player. My second removed cousin. That is Mama's oldest sister's grandchild. And he made it to the majors. And then I tried to make this connection. I don't know. Papa Lex, you tried to hook me up, but I don't know much about Papa Lex's brother. I know he had a sister, and she married a fellow by the name of last name Friend, like my best friend. But they wouldn't have been Vaughns. they would have been friends, but because Daddy was close to his first cousin,
That's
really
your lip balm.
friends.
That's
Mhm.
chapstick.
That's it. Chapstick.
But
But Dad, let me ask you before we leave the Colemans. The obvious question is Bessie Coleman. Any relation there? Bessie Coleman, the famous black female aviator from the 1920s. She was a barnstormer and did all kinds of stuff. They got an airport facility named after her in Oakland.
I don't know. Could be. I used to.
She's a handsome woman.
Well,
Got to be related.
that ain't us. But it's an ironical thing.
Certainly.
About 10 years ago,
I'll take Randy.
so back.
See, that's a bonus of living close to your brother when your power goes out.
I started bowling. And so a fella come in there, and he, I'm telling you, he could bowl 300 anytime he feel like it. Nothing but trash. So I made his acquaintance, and he was a Coleman.
Oh.
So I mentioned Mississippi, and he said, "No, ain't no way. Nobody I know come from Mississippi." But,
well, you got a funny story, Dad. Interesting story. Probably a better way to put it. Of your nephew, by the way, who keeps. I should have called him this week.